Oh, wow.
So this is the more or less the kitchen of the brewery. This is where we do the cooking. I know this isn't really a show about how beer is made,
right.
but these 4 vessels it's a batch process. These vessels were built in the early 60s. They're copper, but inside of them is a modern 2007 energy efficient brew house.
Built in the 1960s, but not here in New Glarus, Wisconsin.
No, we have 2 breweries. Our old brewery, we have 2 copper vessels that are copper inside and out. So
okay.
they haven't been modernized. But when we built this brewery, again, I love the beauty of copper, and I believe that a brew house should be copper because I'm a traditionalist. So I went to Germany, and I found in the 1960s they built a lot of brew houses that were 2-vessel brew houses.
Right.
So each vessel did multiple duties. So 2 breweries I found that had closed, that had gone out of business, and they were going to make a demolition, and I was able to buy the copper.
You saved these things from the scrap heap.
That's very much so.
I mean, these things could have been just melted down, and you saved.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
That's true.
And these are works of art. I mean,
they are. They're absolutely things of beauty.
Wow.
And our old brewery, we're still in operating. Our brew house there is from 1962, and it still runs.
Right on.
Still runs. So it's very, very. In those days, I don't know if you're probably going to cut this out, but during World War II, beer was about half a percent alcohol because they had no grain.
Right.
Whatever grain they had to go towards the effort.
Right.
So when the war ended in the late 50s, when the occupying forces got rid of the quota for barley, brewers could then go back to making full-strength beer.
Right.
And the sales went through the roof. So all of these beautiful brew houses were built in the early 60s.
How long did it take them to get their tolerance back? You know what I mean? Like if you're drinking 1% beer all that time.
Germans, I think, are genetically predisposed to drink their bread in the liquid
That makes sense. So making it the way it's supposed to be made, that's when beer had a renaissance over there.
A huge uptick. And then, of course, those brew houses, equipment has more or less a 30, 40, 50-year lifespan. And so those breweries went through their life cycle, and then they closed.
Right.
And then a lot of equipment was for sale.
And there you go. So I imagine shipping this over here was a pain in the butt.
Very much.
Yeah. Well, that's a story for another time.
Yeah, right.
Okay, this is amazing.
I'm sorry?
I'm just the scale back here.
Yeah.
With the Bavarian village up front, I don't know that you really get a sense unless you're here. Just how huge this is.
Breweries are, particularly a larger brewery like this, requires a lot of machinery, a lot of miles of piping, lots of electrical wiring, and the ability to work there. So imagine building a big kitchen in a restaurant, but allowing people to walk through it.
Right.
So we were really the first brewery. Now it's common. A lot of our friends, brewers, have come here and
you can take a tour anytime you want. There's self-guided tours when you come and visit.
Right.
When you come up here and visit, you can do this tour yourself, and you really owe it to yourself to do that. So, but you were really at the forefront of giving people this kind of access.
And it wasn't easy. How do you build a brewery that has the traffic so the brewers could work?
Right.
And people could be there. They could interface, but they're not in each other's way.
Yeah, and I'm wondering too about the other liability. I'm sure you had lawyers telling you you can't do this.
Well, we were able to figure out a way to make it happen. Hi, Jesse. So it's important to our plan, our marketing, because anybody could come in here and they can see the beer being brewed.
Right.
And so anybody with a green brewery shirt on, they can stop. Hey, what are you doing here?
Right.
And so the modern consumer, the modern beer drinker, really only believes what they see with their eyes.
Right.
So what you see on television or what people tell you maybe doesn't carry as much weight as actually seeing it. So
except on this show.
That's true.
Just saying.
That's true.
What is the Stairway to Heaven?
So we have in here Weiss beer open top tanks, and this is where we make our wheat beer.
Okay.
Traditionally, Bavarian style Weiss beers are made in open top tanks. It's kind of traditional in part, gives us a unique flavor. So we make beer with open top fermenters. People go up and see the tanks fermenting.
How cool is that?
And then over here is a pilot brewery. So this is where we make small batches if we want to.
I mean, how often are you on the pilot system? Do they let you monkey around anymore on any recipes?
Once a month we're making beer,
right.
We're testing new malt, new hops, new recipes that we're working on.
Right on, right on.
So this is the cold side of the brewery. This is where we do fermentation. So
right.
These are all fermenters.
Right.
And the beer will be in here for a 1 week fermentation, and maybe for as long as a 6 week lager.
Depending on the style.
Or longer.
Yeah. Right, right.
It depends on the beer we're making.
Sure.
And so all of these pipes go to different places.
Wow.
Some are air, CO2, water, wort in, beer out, cleaning solutions in and out.
I don't know how you keep track of all of that.
It's at first it was overwhelming,
Yeah.
but there's a very much a system, and once you learn the system, it's not too bad.
Very cool.
It takes a while, like anything. That's right. Everything that we make is sold only in Wisconsin. And again, it's not. There's no hidden agenda. It's just simply that we try to stay focused and simple.